Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, police in Wharton County are investigating a fatal vehicle crash.
The controversial immigration law, Senate Bill 4, heading to the federal appeals court. What one Texas attorney has to say.
And a local health expert in Victoria shares their opinion on the recent rise of measles seen in the U.S.
Well, it's a lovely night. It was certainly a gorgeous day. Tonight, it's absolutely quiet over Texas. You know why? Because the stormy weather is on the East Coast and the West Coast. That West Coast has something to do with your eclipse. We'll be talking about that coming up in a moment.
And East versus West never disappoints, and tonight no different. Highlights and final score coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
A fatal crash in Wharton County is under investigation. Authorities report the crash happened Tuesday night around 8:15 on U.S. Highway 59 and involved 3 vehicles. They say a 2003 Chevy Trailblazer traveled northbound before it hit a concrete barrier on the north side of the highway and then rear-ended a crane truck. Once it came to a stop, it was hit by a 2013 Kenworth tractor and trailer. The driver of the Trailblazer, Roy Spradley Jr. of Bowling, died at the scene.
An update on the ongoing murder case of an Edna cheerleader, Elizabeth Medina.
25 News Now weekend anchor Adam Seibel joins us with more. Adam?
Tomorrow, April 4th, the man accused in the death of Edna cheerleader Elizabeth Medina is on the court docket in Jackson County starting at 9 a.m. at the Edna Courthouse. The Jackson County grand jury indicted 23-year-old Rafael Romero in February. He's accused of intentionally causing the death of Medina while in the course of committing or attempting to commit burglary, robbery, or aggravated sexual assault. We spoke with Elizabeth's family today, and they told us that Elizabeth's mother, Jacqueline, will be in court tomorrow for this update. Now, it's not clear if the district attorney plans to pursue the death penalty in this capital murder case. Don, Karina, back to you.
Adam, thank you. An 18-year-old suspect was arrested after graffiti was sprayed on the Refugio County Sheriff's Office building and some downtown Refugio businesses. Kiana Andrade faces a charge of graffiti with monetary loss of between $750 and $2,500. She has posted bond.
No one was hurt after a vehicle fire closed U.S. Highway 59 northbound this morning. The vehicle was on 961 on ramp to U.S. 59. Authorities say the fire was accidental.
The Victoria Central Appraisal District election set for May 4th is canceled. That's right. Only 3 candidates registered in time for this election. They are certified as unopposed and elected. Joining the Victoria Central Appraisal District Board of Directors are Judy Clegg in at-large position 1, Zed Stewart in at-large position 2, and Dale Zuck in at-large position 3. Now, measles is a highly contagious, serious airborne disease caused by a virus that can lead to severe complications and even death. There's an increased number of cases around the country, and we spoke with the director of the Victoria County Public Health Department, David Gonzalez. He told us this is due in part to unvaccinated children.
So we're definitely seeing an increase. And just to compare to last year, we only had about 58 cases and 4 outbreaks over the whole course of 2023. So we've already met those numbers.
Gonzalez reports a 2 to 3% drop in vaccinated children over the past 5 years. That adds up to about 250,000 more children exposed to measles. Most of the cases were linked to international travel. They were mostly unvaccinated children around a year or older in age.
A Dallas man was sentenced today to 37 years in prison after his guilty plea to hate crime charges. Those came out of a fatal shooting at a car repair shop on September 14th of 2023. 39-year-old Anthony Torres pleaded guilty to 5 federal hate crime counts. He killed 1 person and tried to kill 4 others during a mass shooting on December 24th of 2015. Torres also pleaded guilty to 1 count of using a firearm to commit the murder.
A post office in Houston now bears the name of fallen Army Specialist Vanessa Guillen. Vanessa was murdered while serving at Fort Hood in Killeen. She was just 20 years old. The crime led to major changes in the military, bringing attention to the Army's failure to fully investigate sexual harassment allegations she reported. The post office site is now called the Vanessa Guillen Post Office Building. It's located near her former high school. Governor Greg Abbott endorsed Steve Greenwell for Lavaca County Sheriff today. In a statement, Governor Abbott said, quote, Stephen Greenwell has the real-world experience needed to help the Lavaca County Sheriff's Department keep county residents safe. I know Stephen will advance tough on-crime policies that will crack down on drug smuggling, fight against human trafficking, and keep dangerous criminals behind bars, unquote.
So here's your beer poll tonight. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen to vote. The question is, do endorsements influence your vote? Yes or no? According to our results, it looks like 6% stand at yes and 94% stand at no.
We thank you for voting, and let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis, who has been studying the weather tonight and seeing if his, but did you get the chance to buy the ticket tonight?
I ran over to buy my Powerball ticket, and I was 10 minutes late. And they closed down for the night, and I'm going, there goes my million.
Oh.
Just, you know, there it goes. It's over. Anyway, as a matter of fact, they should be picking up right now. Probably people are watching us and looking, okay, what are the numbers? What are the numbers? Anyway, good morning. Good evening, folks. So we've got a beautiful day today, beautiful evening. As I mentioned, stormy weather on the East Coast and the West Coast. The West Coast is going to affect your weekend, and it's going to affect the eclipse people too. We'll talk more about that in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. Houston police are searching for 3 gunmen wanted in connection to a deadly gas station shooting. Houston police detectives say they targeted a black Cadillac SUV. 4 men were inside. One had been fatally shot while trying to escape. A second person was also shot but ran inside the store to hide. The other 2 were uninjured. HPD says the victims were targeted by 4 men. A 34-year-old man died in that shooting, and a 29-year-old went to the hospital with life-threatening injuries.
An attorney defending Texas plans to arrest migrants suspected of entering the U.S. illegally told a panel of federal judges Wednesday that it's possible the law, quote, went too far, unquote, but that it will be up to the court to decide. The 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals panel stopped Governor Abbott's immigration measure. It's called Senate Bill 4. Texas was allowed to enforce the law before it was put on hold by the same panel that heard arguments Wednesday. The law allows any Texas law enforcement officer to arrest people suspected of entering the country illegally.
A raid took place at a southeast Houston home early this morning. Multiple agencies took part in the raid, including the FBI. Houston police arrested 4 people and rescued several potential victims during a court-authorized hostage rescue operation. They say this was some type of smuggling case. No other details were shared, but the FBI's hostage rescue team and SWAT team were also involved.
The second day of testimony into the recent Panhandle wildfires began today. Lawmakers are investigating the fires that burned through 1 million plus acres in late February. This panel is discussing contributions to the wildfires, the allocation of response resources, and the effectiveness of wildfire disaster preparedness. It's also looking into the coordination between local, state, and federal government agencies regarding prevention, disaster preparedness, and response.
That fire, ignited by power lines, killed at least 2 people. Several families were displaced and thousands of livestock were killed. A report is set to be published officially May 1st.
Here's some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. The Calhoun County Commissioners Court approved the renaming of a section of a road between Ferrick Road and Whatley Road. The new name is May Bell Castle Road. Plus, the Seafarer Center at the Port of Point Comfort, Port Lavaca, is offering a wide variety of services for the men and women whose cruise ships are passing through. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. A line of severe storms from the Midwest to the Northeast leaves a line of destruction in their wake. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we go over the latest damage spanning several states.
Also ahead, health experts explain the benefits of walking on National Walking Day. Started on hazardous buildings toppled by the powerful 7.4 magnitude earthquake that hit Taiwan Wednesday. The earthquake is the biggest to hit the country in at least 25 years. Excavators have torn down 2 of the 4 buildings marked for demolition. The city's mayor says the demolition of all 4 buildings would take at least 2 days. Residents and businesses have been evacuated, and as of latest, rescue teams are continuing searching efforts to retrieve a body from one of the affected buildings.
Chef Jose Andres, the founder of World Central Kitchen, says the Israeli attack killing 7 of his aid workers was targeted. In an interview, he says the World Central Kitchen had clear communication with the Israeli military and were aware of his aid workers' movements. The aid workers' convoy had been struck shortly after unloading 100 tons of food delivered to Gaza. The 7 workers killed included a U.S. dual citizen and citizens of Australia, Britain, and Poland. One time my father had major surgery. He had circulation problems in his legs. The doctor said, don't take all these drugs. Walk around the block.
Walking is the best medicine.
Every night. That was 1965. Today is National Walking Day. The American Heart Association started this event to promote walking.
Yeah, but it's not just about getting from one point to another. Walking can actually have major benefits to your overall health.
Only 1 in 4 Americans meet recommendations for physical activity, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Studies show mental and physical health benefits of exercise. The American Heart Association says that research shows as little as 20 minutes a day of an activity like walking can benefit heart health, lower risk of depression, and improve mood. Make the most of National Walking Day by making a plan. The American Heart Association suggests asking others to join you. If working remotely, take a conference call while walking or walk during a break. Pets can also be a great partner, or make it a fun family activity after dinner. You can also engage and inspire others to join the movement by sharing your walk on social media. However you decide to participate in National Walking Day, know every step you take is a step toward better health. With this Medical Minute, I'm Christiane Cordero.
Here's a look at some of the top headlines you can find in the Cuero Record. If you are interested in becoming a teacher, Cuero ISD is holding a presentation April 8th at the Cuero Junior High School Library. That event begins at 4:30. And also on April 8th, the Cuero City Council will be appointing 2 replacements. Read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com. Stormy weather impacted millions of Americans from the Midwest to the Northeast. At least 25 tornadoes were reported across 9 states, along with widespread flash flooding.
1 death has been reported and more than 300,000 homes and businesses are without power.
Severe thunderstorms and tornadoes slamming the country. The Midwest and South hit especially hard.
The gust of wind lasted probably 15 seconds through here. That was the loudest thing I've ever heard.
In Kentucky, at least 1 person killed in a car accident as the first line of storms moved through.
By the end of this, I think we may well be looking at 7+ different tornadoes that have touched down. Certainly a number of counties impacted.
A confirmed EF1 tornado tearing through, downing trees and ripping roofs off of homes.
Just carried out glass, all the wood that's inside, and started cleaning up the best we could.
You can see a student at the University of Kentucky knocked to the ground. In Columbus, Ohio, this man drove into a flooded intersection and had to be rescued after getting stuck. In Conyers, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, torrential rain and powerful winds, leaving trails of destruction. Trees snapped, at least 4 falling on this house. Utility crews now working to clear debris and restore power. In Wisconsin, they've got snow, a winter storm warning stretching from there to Maine.
Right now here in the Northeast, we are also dealing with heavy rain and the threat of flash flooding, and major cities along the coast could see winds up to 60 miles per hour. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Another round of severe thunderstorms could put a damper on eclipse watching next week. Parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana could see damaging winds, hail, rain, and perhaps a tornado. There's a chance violent storms could hold off until late afternoon, just long enough for eclipse watchers to get a decent view of the phenomenon, but cloud coverage could still possibly obscure the sky. Storms could also impact post-eclipse travel. Other than that, Mac, we're fine.
They didn't consider the eclipse and the weather at the same time. So all of a sudden, those two are going to collide. I'll have a lot more on that coming up. 63 degrees right now. We managed to get up to 79 this afternoon, which is really right on the money for our average high temperature. But it was beautiful with that low humidity. Humidity will be increasing, and so will the winds, but the problem is this weekend. What about that storm? We'll have all that coming up after this. Well, good evening, everyone. Of course, the sunshine today was just gorgeous. I mean, I'm looking at the satellite picture across the entire state of Texas, hardly a cloud anywhere. Look at that. It's amazing. The reason for that is high pressure is on top of us, and that's sort of divided the country. We got a storm on the East Coast that you just heard about, and we got one on the West Coast. That's the one that's organizing, and that one's going to cross the Rockies and have something to do with our weekend, and we'll get to that in a moment. Now, here we are, our forecast high tomorrow, 83, 82 up in Houston, 88 in Corpus Christi, and pretty much everybody's going to be in the comfortable up side of the 80s, and that's because the humidities are fairly low. As we get on into the weekend, you'll see that 79 on Saturday and 80 again on Sunday, so not bad at all. The difference is going to be that the winds, instead of being offshore, are going to return onshore with a vengeance. As a matter of fact, for those of you that want to go fishing, you got to remember that by the time we get to Saturday, that onshore wind will be very strong, possibly blowing, I don't know, 25, 35 miles an hour. Now, here's the reason we've got the lovely weather, the high pressure on top of us. There's the storm rolling east. There's a storm coming in. That's the one we're going to have to watch over the next 4 or 5 days. By the time we get to Saturday, the ridge is on this side, and that means that we're going to start picking up the Gulf moisture for cloud cover, for humidity, and for that strong sea breeze. This storm then on Sunday will start rolling into the plains, and you can see how stormy weather is beginning right about here late Saturday night and on into Sunday. Now, the reason or the confusion, or the concern rather. The concern is that normally we get a front and it blows through here and everything clears up very nicely. And if that was doing that, that would be great. But it's not doing that. The front is coming down to our area. Then it's going to back up as a warm front because the sea breeze is going to be so strong. That means that we're going to continue with lingering instability and lingering shower activity. So beautiful day tomorrow in Port Lavaca, getting up to about 83. Beautiful day in Cuero, getting up to about 83 as well. Lots of sunshine all day long. Couldn't ask for a nicer day. Your Friday is really good. Gulf Air comes back in on Saturday. Sunday is the best chance, really, Sunday night for any shower or thunder shower activity. It would be hanging around for Monday, but here's what I'm going to say. This is going to be driven by heating. So in the morning, you know, it starts warming up. In the afternoon, we pop these showers. With a little luck, in the little time period between then and then, at 1:30, we'll get a chance to see the eclipse before the showers really pop. If you're going farther west, out to the hill country or out toward Del Rio, Laredo, you're going to have a lot drier weather to deal with. East Texas, Houston, Lufkin, they're not going to, well, they're not in the path, but they're not going to see much either because they're going to be in the overcast and in the rainy stuff. That's your 7-day forecast. We'll certainly keep watching that for you. We'd love to have you scan that QR code and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Otherwise, that's it from the weather front. We'll toss it over to Zach Brown.
We had East versus West. You already know that was a wild one. And we also had two athletes from Bloomington sign to play in college. I'll have that coming up in sports. A pair of Bloomington Lady Cats will become Patriots as they both signed to compete at the next level. We had Diana Reyes and Sierra Valadez both put the pen to paper as they committed to the University of Valley Forge in Pennsylvania. Diana Reyes will play volleyball and Sierra Valadez will be her teammate once again as she too will play volleyball but also softball. So she will be a two-sport athlete. Both of these young stars out of Bloomington could not be more excited for what's to come.
It's very exciting. I just want to give all glory to God because He got me here. And it's just a blessing to be able to play 2 sports. And it's just a blessing to even get to play a sport. So it's just a very good experience. Very nerve-wracking, but it's very good.
It means everything to me. I've been wanting this like for the longest. When I was middle school, I was like, I want to do this, but it really means everything to me, and I'm just like happy I got the opportunity to continue playing volleyball at the next level.
Well, congrats to those two on their signings, and they got to do it together and go to the same school. Victoria East versus Victoria West almost always delivers, and tonight out on the diamond, same story, just a different ball game. In the bottom of the 5th inning, West trailing 3-1, 2 runners on. Fantastic bunt by Aiden De Leon, just trying to move him over, but the throw is wild. 1 run's gonna score. Coach Jay Perez sending the 2nd runner to the plate. We're all tied at 3 in the bottom of the 5th inning, and that's going to really get the West side into it as De Leon gets all the way to 3rd. Nobody out. And the next batter, they try a squeeze play. Does not work. The Warriors would live to regret it because we would go into extras. The Titans with 2 on, and the West throw to first is down the right field line and into the corner. Now it's Coley's turn to wave his runners around as it is now 5-3 in the 8th inning, and the East side is now fired up. The Titans would actually tack on 1 more insurance run to make it 6-3, and that was pretty much all she wrote. Braddock Raven comes in after the great performance from Gage Goldman. He's going to get the win on the evening. Now, the good thing about this game, we get to do it all over again. This Friday, round 2 at Riverside Stadium. The West Warriors need to bounce back as they push for the postseason. The Houston Texans made a blockbuster trade today and have officially entered contender status. Stephon Diggs has been traded to Houston for a 2nd-round pick. Houston's offense, they're pretty loaded. They have C.J. Stroud, Dalton Schultz, Nico Collins, Joe Mixon, and now you can add Stephon Diggs to that mix. And they now have the 3rd best betting odds to win the Super Bowl next year. They're tied with Baltimore. San Francisco is number 2, and the Chiefs are number 1. And we've talked about this girl before. She threw a perfect game, then a no-hitter. Well, she just threw another no-hitter. We're talking about Cuero's Carly Poolin. So she's having a season for the ages. That is it for your sports. Donna and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather. Plus, raise a glass of OJ because tomorrow is National Vitamin C Day.
You know, some people do just anything to lower their phone bill. A man posing as a T-Mobile worker climbed a cell tower in Miami. Police say the company called authorities when they realized a man had impersonated one of their employees. A T-Mobile worker told police they found the tower shut off. They say the man tried to convince them to climb up and enjoy the view. Police blocked off the road as they negotiated with him to come down. They finally brought him down after about 4 hours. The man was detained under the Baker Act. I'm still working on the Brubaker Act. NCAA women's basketball Final Four ticket prices surged after Caitlin Clark's Iowa Hawkeyes beat the LSU Tigers. Wednesday's average ticket price for the all-day women's Final Four in Cleveland this weekend rose to more than $2,600. The minimum price, just over $900. The game also had an increase in TV viewership. 12.3 million viewers tuned in to the Iowa LSU game. But at one point, 16.1 million were watching, hitting a record for a women's college basketball game. Yes, that was a great day in sports history. For a women's sports. Yes, indeed, that was great. And so we'll be focused on the March Madness this weekend, but we got Monday.
Big day.
Enjoy yourself in March Madness this weekend. Saturday, all the way to Saturday, is looking great. Sunday, we start picking up shower activity, and the big concern is, will the showers continue on into Monday? The answer is probably. The question is, will they occur in the late afternoon because of heating, or will they obscure the view of the eclipse? Is the big concern that we have. We'll watch and wait, and we'll certainly get you more details as we get closer to the weekend.
Thank you, Mac. Now, you may want to grab a handful of oranges or raise a glass of orange juice tomorrow because April 4th is National Vitamin C Day. Vitamin C, of course, helps to ward off colds, reduce blood pressure, and even lower the risk of heart disease. It also helps keep the skin healthy by protecting it from sunlight, heat, and pollution. So here's to vitamin C, one of our key nutrients that keeps us so healthy.
Besides orange juice and oranges, I forget what else we can eat or drink.
Turmeric.
Huh?
I don't know.
To get vitamin C.
Does it have vitamin C?
I don't know.
Everything has vitamin C.
I'm a veggies type of guy.
Yes.
Does the sun have vitamin C? No.
The sun has vitamin
The
D.
sun does.
D.
And
Vitamin
D
D.
is very
Because
good.
you know how Sunny D is supposed to have
Yeah.
that, but it doesn't? It was
ha-
like false
It
advertising?
has sunshine in the bottle, right?
Alrighty. Well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
Join Carolina Astor-E meteorologist Parker Cox. 25 Views Now sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night. Enjoy your orange juice.